George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people that we feel good about. Well, in just a couple of days, we're going to learn that Jesus is the reason for the season. And we always ask, I always get in touch with my own pastor, Pastor Phil M. Turner, senior pastor for the Bethany Baptist Church, to come and bless the people with a Christmas message so that we can have something to get us through to the big day on December the 25th, which is in a couple of days. So, Pastor Turner, good to see you as always. I haven't really seen you that much, but
well,
listen,
you still making it on Sunday, brother. I
am, and we gotta get together outside of that for real.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
and do some catching up.
Yes, lots to catch up. Lots to catch up on.
Yeah. We need those touch points with our friends.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, so you busy?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I am. I began working on my doctorate at Colgate in Rochester, and
not honorary, right? Not honorary.
Not honorary. No, this is the hard work doctor.
Okay.
The hard work doctorate.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not the didn't do it doctorate.
Okay.
But honorary doctorate, I would, I'm not.
And no hate.
Yeah, no hate right there, because that does represent a body of work.
Right, because to receive that, you did something
to
be able to. So no hate.
Yes.
But you in the books.
Amen. It does require a body of work, even if you get an honorary doctorate.
Yes.
So I am not downgrading an honorary doctorate at all, and it's also recognition and respect. So
sure,
it's great. But I've been busy. I've been doing the doctorate, and also I am the president-elect for the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance here.
Uh-oh.
It's right, because I've already have a full plate.
So wait, is it your turn again, or is this your first time being president?
This is my first time, because I have been dodging that for a while, and it's come to the point where there's no one else coming forward, and everybody's now stepping back and looking at me
and saying
for various reasons. So
they say it's your turn, brother.
Yeah, they said, and they're also thinking about recognition in the community.
Mm-hmm.
and the level of connections and influence at this time. And so it's not that I wanted to jump at this, but sometimes what's the saying? To much whom is given, much is required.
Much is required.
Yeah. So and God's been good, and in spite of me, God has been good.
In this time of year, Pastor, it's a time of reflection. And, when you talk about where you are, and, you're first of all, pastor in the church, and then working on a doctorate, and now taking on the role of the of the president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, right? Which is a coalition of various faith-based churches and denominations in the community.
Yes.
And then those aren't the only activities that you're engaged in.
Not at all. Not at all.
But you know what? For such a time as this, my brother.
Well, you just said probably the most critical words, and that is, this is an extremely transitional time. And in a way that we have not seen, I would say, in the modern age. But I think for our community, for Syracuse, with one of the largest and fastest moving industries coming in, this is the type of thing that can't even come in a small or medium way.
Mm-hmm.
It can only happen in a big way. And how our community responds, especially the Black community, who throughout history have not fared well with transition, and so there are a number of ways that we could be excluded from the windfall that's coming in. We are the least prepared because of historical issues. We are the least likely, people hire us when they have no other choices. And we're not in a good condition in our community. The new data is coming out, and instead of getting better, we're getting worse. We've been rated number 1 in the nation for child poverty. And so, you can't have child poverty unless you have adult poverty.
Mm.
And that's not an honorable position, but it does have a lot to do with telling us what our work is and what's cut out for us. So if I were to give a message to our community for Black folks, I would tell us that we need to bring our focus back to family.
Mm.
The adhesiveness and the strong foundation that family gives. That is one of the areas, and this is for throughout the nation, the
Right.
deterioration of the family for Black people. And strong people come out of strong families.
Come on.
And because we have allowed that to take place, we are now 80, maybe 81% of our children are being born to single parents. That doesn't mean that you can't be good parents and establish a strong foundation, but it does call an alarm for us to be aware of the importance of being engaged with the children that we're making. We have to be engaged. We can't make the children and then disappear. You can provide a strong foundation for your child without necessarily being in the same household. It would be good if you are, because it really makes the challenge greater if you're not in the same household. But the youth and the children need the dual support that comes from two parents working together. Okay, two parents working together, one for financial reasons, and secondly for support reasons, to be engaged with the development of the child. And right now we have an alternative education program that we're doing with the school district for young men who for various reasons are no longer able to function in the regular school curriculum with the other children. So now they have to find some way. They're teenagers, they're in high school, but they're not able to do high school work. And so they're looking for alternative ways to educate those young men. But they are the results of dysfunctional home foundations.
Yeah.
And that maybe there's one parent, but the one parent is struggling. There is need for what's the word I'm looking for, when role models.
Role model.
The young men and the young ladies need role models. They need role models to see what adulthood looks like. They need role models to get an understanding of responsibility, and that everything that you want to achieve requires some dedication and work. But they need to look at people who have done it, and then they need parents who are paying attention for when they are veering off track.
Yeah.
And about to become a part of the left out population.
And you made the point about family and engagement, making children, but not raising the children.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not going to be in the same household, right? Because things happen. We know things
Right.
happen.
Our reality.
But that doesn't mean that you don't have the obligation then to parent your child that you created. I think that's where I hear you going with that.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because children can adapt.
Right.
All right. If both parents aren't in the same household, they can adapt. And then if you explain things to them, they can understand. What they need is both parents involved with their development. Okay, being visible, because some of the advantages of being in the same household is that you're with each other on a daily basis.
Right.
You are walking through life with the child. And when the child gets to those areas where they have some notable accomplishments and achievements, they need to turn around and see the people that they're working to impress. Okay, you know, the person that has the most or should have the most influence on a child is their parents. All
Right.
right. And
Right.
and they will work to please you if you're there.
And I just have to say, and if you ain't there, you still have to be there. You feel
You
me?
still
What
have
that
you
what I
still
mean
have to
by that? Because I'm then going back to some people just can't be together, but
right.
they can raise their kids together. You feel me?
Well,
But
they
they
have to.
right, exactly. And I think that's part of to me what I mean, you're a past, you see it all. But my perception is that unfortunately we have relationships that I may not get along with you, but we got to raise this kid positively. And I think part of what we're seeing is my relationship with you is we're letting that impact the relationship with the kid. So
Mhm.
the best what you said is the best thing, right? If we
Yes.
can live in that house together and be parenting together,
Yes.
you know, husband and wife, whatever, or whatever your situation is, I know what we advocate, right? But
That's yes. Yeah,
but
yeah.
but that's ultimately what we want: two people
Yes.
together in love, doing the thing for them. But if you ain't gonna be in the house, at least you still have to respect that parent because it doesn't work if you're belittling the parent that ain't there, and then expect that child to then have you're confusing the kid, right?
Yes.
So even if you don't like that person, this is your message, not mine. But I'm
Well,
just
listen, George, you're making some very realistic points.
right.
Because everybody who comes together is not necessarily compatible for a lifetime relationship.
Let's talk
That's
about
not
it.
reality.
That's the real, right?
It's the real. Okay. And we have in this modern age, with with sexual revolutions and all of that, and everybody feeling like that is such a necessary part of life. Well, children are coming out of it,
Yeah,
right? And so there's a lot of advantage of being in the same households. You can have collective finances. You can have daily communication on how best to support your children. You are in a partnership. All of those advantages comes with being in the same house. But our children still needs, and this is why we are dealing with broken families and broken homes. Children still need to see what a healthy relationship looks like. They
man.
need to see a mother and a father being respected. They need to see what collaboration looks like. They need to see the behavior that's necessary for two people to live together or either work together. But they need examples of how to operate in a healthy relationship.
And you know the work I do with the healthy relationships is in my work in domestic violence prevention. And you know, when I do my trainings all across this community, one of the things that I see is that when we ask the question, what examples do you have of a healthy relationship and what makes it healthy? Very few people are able to A, identify what that looks like, and B, have examples of what that looks like. And
Yes,
so when you don't have an example, you're apt to repeat what you haven't seen,
that's
right?
right.
Because that's all you know. And
That's
so
right. You
part of what I'm gonna speak to the men for a minute as well.
Yeah,
Part of what
that's
we
what
got
you
to do as
do.
brothers
Yeah.
is have that conversations with one another about
Yes.
the ways in which we can speak to one another about the frustrations and challenges that we're having with one another, right? Not with one another, with the relationships that we're having, so that we can support each other in having healthier communications with our partners, and for the same thing for women, right? You know,
Yes.
they're more likely. Uh, if you look at it from this gender perspective, more likely to be open with with the sisters, but the brothers are not usually willing to
No,
be that
no,
open.
no,
Am I
no.
right? Am I in the same?
No, we've been programmed a different way.
Yeah.
What society, the message that society gives to men is, complete and total self-sufficiency. The a person who stoically goes
Hmm.
about handling responsibility, never ever expressing any feelings, never ever sharing any shortcomings or any
Hmm. Hmm.
vulnerability. And so
Hmm.
we follow that model. But what you just expressed is how we duplicate whatever it is that we have been exposed to. So if a person comes from a dysfunctional family, what they have learned is dysfunctionality.
Right.
Okay,
And,
and so they go and they repeat that. And a very clear statement for us all to understand is people cannot be what they cannot see.
it's normalized, right? You
Yes,
cannot be what you
yes,
cannot see. And it's interesting, in my own family, my mother and father divorced very early, and that what they didn't have an example. God bless both of their souls.
yes.
They couldn't do it. But here's what my mother did. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful for her to do that. Because when he used to pick me up, they were divorced. When he used to pick me up, it was uh the conversation was very, very interesting, Pastor.
I
Oh,
bet it
no, no,
was.
let me say it this way. Their conversations tend to be elevated and
Yes,
escalated.
yes.
However, she thought it was critically important
Mm-hmm.
that we have a relationship with our father, right?
Yes. Yes.
But they didn't get along when we were young. At the critical age that we were going to his house on the weekend, they really didn't get along.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things. Now older and wiser, and but
Yeah.
younger, no, they didn't get along. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mention that because even though that had some tension, it didn't stop her from saying, but this is what you need. I know you need that. I know
Yeah.
you and your sister, my sister and I know that y'all need that. And so that's important. And
Yeah.
yes, if there was something of a disciplinary nature, she would have no problem. I'm gonna call your father, right? Even though they
Yeah.
didn't really,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. But
but right.
you
So
know,
I'm sharing that because I know that there are people who are watching and listening that there's that tension,
well,
and for a
yeah.
lot of reasons, right? Now,
Yes.
look, we're not saying if one of the partners is a complete knucklehead for real,
For
we
real.
ain't
For real.
saying okay, we ain't that crazy.
Right.
But where there's room for communication, that's what
Yes.
I hear Pastor advocating.
Well, and absolutely. And I think that what you just expressed too is why I believe we owe such homage and such gratuities to the women, especially black women,
We're holding it down.
who have held it down and have been wise enough, if the father is able and if the father is a respectful human being, they have
Hmm.
had the wisdom to still uphold respect for the father in the child's eye.
Yes.
And so that's why you turned out like you did. Okay, because it doesn't mean that you're not able to raise children if the parents are not together, but a level of respect for each parent, and making sure that the child has exposure to both parents can still help to produce a wholesome human being.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
so it is possible, and in
And,
so many ways, but we need to respect, man. I'm telling you, I just have some respect for sisters, for black women, for what they have done
yeah.
in a system that targets and oppresses black men. They have been wise enough to fill the gap and to be understanding and still love us, even though the system is not geared towards supporting us, and have in many ways helped us to make it through. And they haven't received their proper respect We ought to have them on pedestals. As you say, you told me earlier, you've got to get upstairs to help the queen. Okay. And I respect you for that, because that's who's helping us be
Yes. And,
be good fathers and be producers, and
and
their value is underappreciated.
and one of the, just to reiterate, we're talking with Pastor Phil Turner, senior pastor of the Bethany Baptist Church, and now the president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance for 2025. And the focus, he says, for this holiday season needs to be on our family and what that means for our communities. And I'm going to share. There's a study, Pastor, that I wanted to share with you that talks about the importance and benefits of family dinners and what it does. What are the things that happen? Now, this is generally speaking, the statistics show that when we sit down to dinner together as a family, here's what can happen. Are you ready for this list, Pastor?
I am, and I think that your listeners should be ready for it as well.
Here we go. Family dinners. All right, not you over here, me over there, but and even Missy and I got to get back to having dinner together. I was just thinking about this, but we used to have dinner together as a family, right? And
every day,
now, what we're suggesting is at least a couple of days a week. We know everybody busy, running around doing whatever. Family dinner. Okay, so here we go. Family dinners, better academic performance, higher self-esteem, greater sense of resilience, lower risk of misuse of substances, lower risk of teen pregnancy, lower risk of depression, lower likelihood of developing eating disorders, lower rates of obesity, better cardiovascular health in teens, bigger vocabulary in preschoolers, healthier eating patterns in young adults. And even for adults, better nutrition, less dieting, increased self-esteem, and lower risk of depression. These are some of the benefits of family dinners. So this goes along with what you said about, for this season, the refocusing on the family. And I'm gonna add one thing, and make a plan to have dinner together as a family.
Together.
Eat together.
Because here's the reality. The dinner table or the table where you eat is where the family connects.
Okay.
Okay, we go throughout the entire day. The one time that we're sitting together, exchanging thoughts, communicating morals. Okay, I learned my morals at the dinner table.
Okay.
And at the breakfast table. That's where I learned what my parents expected. That's where I got a feel of what we believe and how to live in a world where you have to understand boundaries and responsibilities. But the place that we connected was at the table.
At the table.
And if you look at the biblical perspective, Jesus had his greatest communication with his disciples when they were at the table, when they were at
table.
Sup.
Okay.
There's power in connecting over food. Okay. And the disassociation of having people eat when they eat. Somebody eats over here, somebody comes over there. They got all these, but you have to center the family. The one way to center the family is to have meals together.
And one thing, and this is, we struggle with this in our house. Put the devices away. Oh my God, please.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my family now. Could y'all put them away for a minute?
You're talking about all the families, because I think going forward, just one of the things I want to bring to the attention of your listeners and anyone else is how we have to now minimize our exposure to information, especially information that is non-essential to our goals.
Come on.
And so
please stay there for a minute, because
yes.
Because I'm guilty. Doom scrolling. Doom scrolling. Doom scrolling. And then an hour later, you don't know what you just what did I gain from that?
But you still didn't get done what you had set out to do. An hour later.
And got all this and what?
And all this other information that is not pertinent to what you are trying to attain at the moment. And so we are so deeply distracted.
Yeah.
And we need to limit our social media. We need to get down to just what's pertinent. Okay, and then we need to focus more on that diminished exposure to communication, because so much is going in that has nothing to do with what we're trying to achieve. We
No.
are a very distracted society.
All
Okay,
right.
and so that makes us less productive. That makes us less accessible to others, and it diminishes our momentum.
All right. As we get near the close, because you're gonna give me a little prayer too.
We can't go on, right? Me and George.
No, we could, but I got a sister girl.
Yes, sir. You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Gotta do what I gotta do.
And I ain't gonna be in your way.
No, listen. So, Pastor, listen to this. Christmas Day service at Bethany.
Yes,
What
we
time?
always have a brief coming together on Christmas Day. And the reason that and it's at 10 a.m. We will be out in an hour. I always promise that.
Yes, 10 to 11. Yes.
But that connection and that touch on Christmas Day is just so that we uphold the very purpose for this season. And the purpose of the season is the most important person that the world has ever seen was born.
Amen.
The most influential influential person in human history is Jesus Christ, who changed the calendar, who now we live in a world that is before Christ and after Christ, who has spread his ministry to at least 2/3 of the world, if not more. And there's barely a person alive who has never heard the name Christ. Okay. It has given us a moral foundation for our families. It has enabled us to be productive in the world. It has given us ways to connect and how to treat each other. There is no limit to the benefits that we have for this. And why would we on that day act as though it's about something other than the birth of Christ? It is so important to uphold that, because there's so many commercial things that tries to impede on that time. And we're not having this celebration because Santa Claus was born. Okay, we're not. Okay, we're not having this celebration because we can have Black Friday, where all of the retailers are able to make up for what they didn't make during the year when the Christmas seasons began. We have to remember the very reason that we celebrate this particular time, and to properly give Christ the respect that he so deserves. Not all of this other stuff that has caused a distraction. There's more children who are more excited about Santa Claus than the one that can give them life and give them life more abundantly. Okay.
All right, now.
You're making me preach now, man.
All right. Okay. And will
10
there?
a.m.
And I know we'll be traveling, but will there be a watch night service?
We're also this year going back. The last 2 years, we had our watch night service. We had our New Year's Eve service earlier in the evening at 6 and at 7. We're going back to the watch night and uphold the tradition of what watch night was really all about. The idea from the Black perspective is that each New Year's Eve, the slaves were concerned as to whether or not they would be freed, and during the watch night they came together to pray and to hope that the new year would bring in the freedom that they so desperately desired. And so in the last couple of years, we've had people. Now, here's the thing, and I ain't trying to come down on nobody, but there are people who come to watch night service who do not feed themselves spiritually for the rest of the year.
They got to be a watch night.
Okay. Even though they're going to party.
Wait.
This watch night is over, but at least that one night where they're able to get something spiritual to undergird their journey for the rest of the year. So and they come. They expect you to be there.
CME Christian, right? Christmas, right. Mother's Day, Easter, and now we got to do the W, watch night.
Watch night. Okay. All right.
But yeah, because the earlier, and it's funny because even though people complain it was too late, but they ain't like the earlier either,
They
right?
didn't like the early either. So that,
They
and
want to
and
pray.
what
I just did something about praying in the
the
New
new year
Year's,
and
right?
connecting with God,
Yes,
because
yes,
that's
yes.
where our strength is.
Amen. Amen.
Our help comes from the Lord.
Well,
Okay. And so I can guarantee you that when people are having struggles and they're getting to a situation, what's the first thing they're looking for? Somebody to pray for them.
amen.
Okay.
So Bethany Baptist Church is located at 149 Beatty Street in Syracuse, where the Reverend Phil M. Turner is the senior pastor. All right, Pastor Turner, let's get into a little prayer.
Yes,
Take us
sir.
home, brother. Take us home.
Okay. Well, now you caught me off guard. I don't not really know. Jesus is the best thing that ever happened. Jesus is the best thing that ever happened. Jesus is the best thing that ever happened to me. All right, so we don't have time for a whole song, and I'm not prepared, man. I got that's a whole group. Okay, the younger me used to just be able to pop it off, but I still got a little something in the tank. And just come and see us, on a regular basis, and you'll get more of that.
Uh-huh.
But this is what I
Okay.
want to leave with your listeners. Do not leave God out
Mm.
of the things that are essential in your life. That is the one source of influence, one source of encouragement. That is the source of hope. That is the source of strength. That is the main thing that you need out of all that you're doing. And when you cut that out, you weaken the rest of your life.
Mm.
Everything is weakened by your disconnection from the one and most important source that keeps you going, that gives you strength, and that keeps hope alive. Connect and stay there. Come on the regular. That's what I give you credit for, George. On a regular basis, man, as busy as you are, I look up on Sunday and GK is there. Okay.
Listen, can I just tell you? I know where's my help comes from.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
know,
sir.
and I'm gonna tell you. I'll say it real brief. One of the reasons why I believe I do the online thing too, but one of the
Yes, your
things
prayer.
that I really want is there is something about the fellowship and the connection in person that you just don't get online. I don't care.
Thank
And
you. Thank
so
you.
what and just the warmth, and you get to connect and you see folks, and it's
Mm,
just a beautiful thing. So that's why I make it a point that I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get
yes.
there. If
Yes.
and if I'm not there, it's for a reason, right?
Yes.
It's for a
Yes.
reason
Yeah.
because but I just think it's so important to show up and be.
Yes.
There's nothing like you're gonna get me started, Pastor. I'm supposed to
That's
be
all
done.
right.
There's nothing like praising the Lord with the saints of God and letting the Spirit fill you and then give you that hope that everything's going to be all right. And I also have shout out to my prayer line because
Yeah.
we're up,
That group,
Pastor,
man.
at
That group.
5. Listen, and I
Yeah.
know what's the song? I know I've been changed.
Yes.
I got still work to do, but I
Yeah.
know that I have been blessed. You got me testifying. Yeah, I'm supposed to
But
be
it's
not
good,
in.
man,
Come
because your
on now,
life.
wait a minute, Pastor. I got to get going. Listen.
Well, let me say this though. Your life reflects the spiritual wholesomeness that you keep alive. Your life reflects it. You have been blessed. You're you're having a successful career. You're traveling. All of your children are college educated. All
Amen.
right. You've been able to, you and your wife have been able to maintain gainful employment. It is your life bears the fruit of your spiritual diet. Okay, it does. And you can stand as an example of how fruitful it is to nurture your relationship with God. And here's what I like about you, George. Not only do you come on a regular basis, but that space where George, fills for everybody else, you come and you are available. You go around. I see you making your rounds, all of that. But you're bringing George to fill the part that God has created for you in the church.
Amen.
And everybody can do that. There's something valuable and special about every person that God created, and you need to make yourself available in somebody's church body.
Amen.
Amen.
And with that, I'm about to get a little shout out in here. And okay, listen, Pastor Phil M. Turner is the senior pastor of the Bethany Baptist Church. They're located at 149 Beatty Street in Syracuse. But more importantly, he's my pastor and he's my friend. George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation.
Bless you, George.